Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. On behalf of the Guru Parampara and Swamini Amma, I welcome all of you to day 2 of Shankara Jayanti celebrations. Day 1 of Shankara Jayanti was successfully completed yesterday. And it was very inspiring to all of us present there to hear two talks that were so well researched, rehearsed, and presented. And with that inspiration in mind and with the good talks that we heard yesterday, we move on to more better talks today on day 2. To begin with day 2, I invite Indraji to start with a prayer song. And this would be Dikshita Kriti on Kamakshi Amman. Indraji, unmute yourself.
Jai Jai Shankara, Hara Hara Shankara. Om Amma, Namaskaram. I will sing the Kriti of Dikshitar in the Raga Simendra Madhyamam, set to Rupaka Talam. It is on our Chandra Maulishwara Swamigal Perivaloda, Ishta Devata Kamakshi Devi. Song is about Kamakshi Devi. Kamakshi Kamakoti Pitavasini Mava Kamakshi Kamakoti Pitavasini Mava Kamakshi Kau Madri Kau Madri Kau Madri Kusumadyotim Kau Madri Kusumadyotim Kema Bharana Bhushanim Kaumadrim Kusumadyotim Hemabharana Bhushanim Samasta Samrajyadayini Sadguru Janani Samasta Samrajyadayini Sadguru Janani Kamakshi Kamakoti Pita Vasini Kamalesha Sodari Kamalesha Sodari Kamalakshi Narayani Kamalesha Sodari Kamalakshi Narayani Nada Bindu Kala Swarupini Nada Bindu Kala Swarupini Katyayani Kamagala Swarupini Katyayani Kamakala Swarupini Kalyana Gunasalini Kamakala Rupini Kalyana Gunasalini Kamakshi Kamakoti Pita Vasini Mava Kamakshi. Thank you.
Thank you, Indraji. That was a beautiful, melodious prayer song to start the day. Thank you very much for that. And now we will start with the first talk of the day. I'm not able to get the screen. 1 second. Yes. We'll start with the first talk of the day. I invite Lakshmi ji to give her talk on Jiva Yatra in Sadhana Panchakam.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om to all. The root of Jiva, as explained in the Sadhana Panchakam. As Shri Adi Shankaracharya was approaching the end of his 32-year lifespan, a request was made by some of his disciples to write a brief text summarizing the route to be taken by a jiva towards spiritual growth. This prakarana, bringing all of Shankaracharya's experience to bear, was written in the form of a poem, Sadhana Panchaka, which derives its name from the 5 verses of the poem, each one dealing with a spiritual practice. Each verse consists of 8 instructions or commands or steps, making a sum total of 40. In spite of their brevity, the verses reveal the very essence of sadhana. What is sadhana? It is that which, when practiced with awareness, discipline, and the intention of spiritual growth. The instructions are considered to be very precious and priceless, and hence this text is also termed as Upadesha Pancharatna, 5 precious gems of teaching. The construct of the verses is in no way haphazard, but are presented in a logical sequence, making it a practical guide for a mumukshu. This sequential format of the text gives it its third name, Sopana Arohana Nyaya, a logical climbing of the ladder in sadhana. The first 24 steps covered in verses 1 to 3 takes one sequentially through the steps or the stages of life as outlined in the Vedas. Following are the stages along with a sample of the instruction for each stage. Number 1, Brahmacharya stage or the life of studentship. The instructions are from 1 to 4. Vedo Nityam Adhiyatam. Study the Vedas daily. Apachiti Kamye Mati Satyajyatam. Give up desire prompted activities. Next is the Grihastha stage or the life of a householder. This encompasses the commands 5 to 8. Atmecha Vyavasiyatam. Strive to discover one's true self. Then the Vanaprastha stage or the life of a retirement. Here the commands are from 9 to 12. Sangha Satsu Vidhiyatam. Seek the company of wise men. Shantyadi Parichiyatam. Develop virtues like peacefulness. The last sannyasa stage or the life of renunciation, commands 13 to 24. Vyakyarthascha vicharyatam. Reflect on the meanings of the teachings. Brahmasmi iti vibhavyatam. Meditate on the Mahavakyam, I am Brahma. In verses 4 to 5, the next 16 steps are delineated, which take one to the highest level of self-realization. 25 to 28, practice of tapas or voluntary austerity. 29 to 32, practice of tidiksha, that is enduring life's pinpricks. 33 to 36, nirvikalpa samadhi, final steps to realization. Lastly, 37 to 40, that is Jivan Mukti or freedom from all bondages. The simplicity, at the same time, wealth and depth of meaning in each verse is awe-inspiring. One feels Yes, I can do this. I can practice this. On a personal note, I would like to dwell upon a few aspects or guidelines which I strive to implement. Day by day, give up one's ego and the I notion. Ahar ahar karva parityajyatam. Deheham matitara ujyatam. Abandon the notion that I am this body, that is the anatma. Number 3, practice titiksha. Endure life's ups and downs with equanimity by developing inner strength and composure. Number 4, develop immunity towards both praise and criticism. Cultivate emotional independence. To conclude, a meaningful study of the sadhana, Panchaka Stotram, under the guidance of a learned guru, gives one the benefits of freedom from desire, freedom from ego consciousness, freedom from restlessness, and lastly, and most important, freedom from self-ignorance. Oh, that's it.
Thank you, Lakshmi ji. Thank you for sharing the profound thoughts on Jiva Yatra. It was very well presented, clear, confident, and concise. Your words make us appreciate the work of Shankara, Sri Shankara even more. Thank you. And now we go ahead and I invite Mayura ji to talk on vision of oneness.
Nama. My pranams to Swamini Amma and all of you. My topic is vision of oneness. Today, as we are celebrating Shankara Jayanti, I like to quote one of the teachings of Sri Adi Shankaracharya. The quote is, "The world is like a dream, full of attachments and aversions, and seems real until the awakening. And this awakening is caused by Samatva Drishti, that is, vision of oneness, which is my topic. The vision of oneness is presented by Ishvara in Bhagavad Gita, is both the goal of life and the means of attaining the goal. The significance of this vision is understood only when we understand the conflicts and stresses that accompany a belief in the reality of duality. The truth is that there is unity in diversity, but this unity is not seen because we have taken perceived differences to be real. For example, pots and jars are made of clay, and each appears to be different from the other. But are they really different? No, as one clay alone manifests as the assortment of pots and jars, which we fail to recognize this fact, and our thinking becomes confused and deluded, thinking there are many objects, when actually there is only clay. Although we pick out differentiation, but this differentiation is not real, and it is important to have a vision of oneness that is the truth. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13, verse 27 says, Samam sarveshu bhuteshu tishtatham parmeshwaram vinasastyu avinasyatam yah pasyati sa pasyati. It means he alone truly sees, who sees Ishvara as existing equally in all beings, and the one who is imperishable among the perishable. This verse points out that timeless Ishvara exists in the entire universe in all different objects, and each object in universe is constantly changing, subject to time. Yet Ishvara exists in all objects as the one who is imperishable and changeless. This changeless, imperishable Ishvara exists as the connecting link who lends harmony and order to the whole universe, just as the thread that connect the different flowers in garland is the support of all the flowers in the garland, because of which flowers enjoy an order and harmony. In Bhagavad Gita, Ishvara points out that Atma is ageless, immortal, indestructible. It cannot be cut, burnt, or be drowned. Atma is Satchitananda, that is changeless, immortal, and limitless, whole. Because of ignorance, the non-recognition of the true nature of Atma leads to ahamkara, and there is aviveka. The wise person who recognizes that oneness is the truth is free from raga dveshas. The means of gaining samatva.
Maybe
Please unmute
brilliant in
yourself.
literary
Mute yourself.
literary accomplishments.
The means of gaining samatva drishti is the
Literary
vision of
accomplishments.
oneness, also considered as yoga. The other aspect of samatva drishti is prasada buddhi, the attitude of graceful acceptance of the results of action. Not only Ishvara is the ruler of all actions, but he is also giver of all results of all our actions. That is karma phaladata. Every situation is created by Ishvara as a result of our karma. This understanding results in sameness of mind towards the various situations and events that we face. It gives rise to the appreciation that whatever is happening is given by Ishvara, and acceptance of these situations with Shraddha is called yoga, and yoga is the constant meditation on Ishvara while performing action as well as receiving the result. Maintaining this attitude while living one's life, raga dvesas are relatively neutralized, and one's mind becomes purer and gains eligibility to recognize Ishvara, who is the very nature of oneness. Endowed with this vision of Ishvara, yogi no longer harms others. In fact, his action becomes the means for the welfare of all beings. He is himself totally fulfilled. He becomes a blessing to the universe. This is the greatest result of the oneness, of the vision of oneness. Hari Om Tat Sat.
Thank you so much, Mayuraji. Thank you. With your words and your talk, you have established a clear vision of oneness for all of us. Now it is up to us to dwell on your words, go ahead and see the oneness in all the beings on planet Earth. Thank you so much once again. And now we will hear a talk on Eka Shloki by Dr. Kumuda. I welcome you, Dr. Kumuda, to start your talk.
Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. My humble prostration to Shri Adi Shankaracharya, Guru Parampara, our Swamini Amma, and all the Mumukshus assembled here on this auspicious occasion of Shri Shankara Jayanti Utsava. I am going to speak about Ekashloki Prakarana Grantha, composed by Shri Adi Shankaracharya, which is the essence of the Swayam Jyoti Brahmanam section of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, which is in the form of a dialogue between King Janaka and sage Yagnavalkya in the court of the king. This Ekashloki is set in Shardula Vikrida meter. Sri Adi Shankaracharya very intelligently encapsulated the essence of Vedantic philosophy in this single sloka. It is presented as a dialogue between a guru and a shishya in response to a question by shishya on self-realization, Mahavakyam Atma Tattvam Tattvam Asi or Aham Brahmasmi. Coming to sloka, Kim Jyotistava Bhanumanahani Ratrau Pradipadikam Syadevam Dravidipa Darshana Vidau Kim Jyotirakyahi me Chakshustasya Nimilanadi Samaye Kim Dhirdhiyo Darshane Kim Tatrahamato Bhavan Paramakam Jyotis Tadasmi Prabhu. Vachartha of this sloka is as follows in the form of a Guru Shishya Sambhashana. What provides you with light? By day the sun, by night moon, lamp, etc. What's the light that sees these lights? The eyes. What is the light that illumines the closed eyes? The intellect. What is it that illumines the intellect? It is I, aham. When the Guru said, Tattvam, you are that, the Shishya said, truly, I am that, Tat Aham. Lakshata, that is the implied meaning of this is as follows. Sri Adi Shankaracharya uses a series of questions to guide a student from perceiving external lights like sun, moon, Agni, and lamps to realize his inner light of consciousness. Through successive questions about what enables vision when the eyes are closed and thoughts are perceived, the student arrives at the realization that he is the pure witnessing awareness, Tat Aham, beyond all objective conditions. With the final question, Acharya leads the student to experience directly that he is the supreme light of consciousness, that is Tattvam Asi, transforming him forever. That Atma Jyoti, by the light of which the world is illumined day and night, and also the lamp, because this supreme consciousness, Brahman, is the source of all the lights, Agni and Surya. It is this light through which all the Indriyas function. When the eyes are closed, there is no perception. Eyes implying perception through all Indriyas, then the mind functions through the help of the intellect, which in its turn functions through the light of Atma Tattvam, supreme reality, self-consciousness, which is beyond body, mind, and intellect. And that I am the supreme Atma Jyoti, light of lights, which is independent, by which everything in this universe is revealed. And this light of knowledge destroys the darkness of ignorance. In this prakarana, the prakriya, the teaching methodology used is Arundhati Darshana Nyaya. Shaka Chandra Nyaya also can be applied. Here, Guru guides the Shishya from the known objects, step by step, from subtle to subtler objects, and finally reveals the subtlemost Atma Tattvam. If you trace the knowledge inwards by negating all the anatma components, you will arrive at the conclusive realization of yourself being pure consciousness. This is how in Kathopanishad, Yamadharma Raja teaches Nachiketa through Panchakosha Viveka Prakriya about the subtlemost Atma Tattvam. Om Tat Sat. Dhanyavadaha.
Thank you so much, Dr. Pramodji. Thank you for this illuminating talk. And you have illuminated our minds by this well-researched talk. And we can think and reflect about all the light that one can see and that which one cannot see. They say darkness is never permanent. It disappears the moment the light is switched on, but light is always permanent. Thank you so much for this profound talk. And now I invite Shushila ji to talk on Panchakosha Viveka Prakriya.
Namaskarams to the Guru Parampara and also Amma to you. Adi Shankara, once after having a bath in the Ganges, was walking in a busy street. A Chandala was standing. Shankara replied, what should I do? One from the another, or one consciousness from the another? From where has this great delusion of Brahmana and Chandala has arisen? The inner self is one waveless ocean of self-existing consciousness shining and threads all the bodies as one Atman. This story illustrates that Atman is distinct from the body. The body is divided as three koshas or three shariras or five koshas. Pancha koshas are the layers of the body that seemingly cover
Sushila ji, your voice is breaking.
talks about.
I think the bandwidth is low.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes, now we are able
Yes.
to hear you. Yes. If you want,
Or should I do it through my phone?
You could turn off your video and
I think I'll do it with my phone.
okay.
Yeah, then okay. The Panchakoshas are the layers of the body. Can you hear me now?
yes.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
It's clear.
Okay. Panchakoshas are the layers of the body that seemingly cover the Atman. The Tvam-pada Mahavakya Tattvam Asi, or Brahma Anandavalli of Taittiriya Upanishad of Krishna Yajurveda, talks about the different ways to reach Brahman. The koshas refers to the different aspects or layers of subject experience. The layers range from the dense to the subtlest levels of emotions, mind, and spirit. Just like the sheath covers the sword, koshas cover the Atman. Just like the kosher worm gets bound to the nest, the jiva is bound by the koshas. This Atma is as though covered by koshas. Annamaya kosha is the gross body. This is the densest kosha. It is formed by the union of the female and male seed. The body is nourished by the food and dies without food. After death, this kosha merges with the earth. Just like smoke has its existence in the fire but conceals the fire, the pot has its existence in the clay but conceals it. The five koshas owe their existence to the Atman but covers the Atman. It is the tendency of a man to identify himself with the body or with prana, mind, or intellect. But Atma is none of these. For self-realization, a detailed and comprehensive study of the koshas is indispensable and have to use the doctrine of Neti Neti. Now let us see how Atman is distinct from koshas. Annama kosha is the physical body and is never pure. It does not exist before birth or after death. It is ever changing. It is made of five gross elements and is the effect of gunas. If the gross body is Atman, the dead body should be as a living being. How can this limited span of inert body be the witness of anything? So, how can it be the knowing witness? The person covered in avidya identifies himself with the body, but the Viveki regards the changeless Atman as self. The identification with the physical body is the root cause of samsara. So, destroy the identification and by identifying with the Brahman, attain immortality. Pranamaya kosha consists of karmendriyas along with Annamaya kosha. It engages in the activities as if it were living. The attributes of the sheath, such as hunger and thirst, are superimposed on self when one says, I am hungry or thirsty. The function of the pranamaya kosha are attributed to the Atman. Conversely, the attributes of the Atman is ascribed to the kosha when one says, my prana is dear to me. Prana is inert and is only as long as the body is. So is it not? It is not Brahman. Manomaya kosha has the five organs of knowledge. It is the mental sheath and is the cause of I, me, and mine. Man usually says, I am happy or sad. The function of the Manomaya kosha is superimposed on Atman. The mind is avidya. When mind is destroyed, everything is destroyed. If the in a dream, mind is a subject and object, and in deep sleep, it rests in the cause. Mind is a product of sattva guna and is the instrument in the hands of the subject who is the user. It is a subject to pleasure and pain. Mind is associated with thoughts. So it is vikari. But Brahman is avikari. So this kosha is not a witnessing principle. Buddhi or intellect with its modification is Vijnanamaya kosha. It is highly illuminous as it is closer to Atman. The functions of the Vijnanamaya kosha is ascribed to Atman when one says, I am learned, I am intelligent. This kosha is subject to change and it ends along with the physical body. So this too is not the witnessing principle. The fifth sheath, Anandamaya kosha, is the sattvic aspect causing blissful experience. It has three vrittis. Priya is happiness when one sees the desired object. Moda is happiness when possesses the object. And pramoda when one actually enjoys the desired object. This kosha is fully active in deep sleep. When I say I'm happy, the attributes of this kosha is ascribed to the Atma. This kosha is endowed with attributes. It is the effect of the past good deeds. When one says my body, my prana, my senses, my ignorance, he, without his knowledge, separates himself from them by the word my. One can clearly understand by the doctrine of Neti Neti that all these koshas are not that Atma, but belongs to belongs to it. These koshas are not, I'm sorry, Shruti emphatically declares Atma has no attributes. The power of discrimination helps one to differentiate Atma from the koshas. With the help of Brahmanishta Guru, one clearly understands Atma and Anatma are two distinctly different. Only a Viveki can differentiate Atma and Anatma, like only a Hamsa can separate water and milk. When the illusion is removed, one gets knowledge of self. Shankara has explained that Atma is beyond Panchakoshas and three Shariras in many of his texts. He explained Brahman is Nirguna, Nirvikara, Nirvishesha, and Ananta. All this amounts to you are the soul in the body and not the body in the soul. Om Tat Sat.
Thank you, Sushila ji. Thank you for refreshing our body, mind, and spirits. Thank you for refreshing all 5 layers and peeling away the layers one by one till we went and reached the absolute truth. And now we move ahead. I invite Gayatri ji. Gayatri Nath will be speaking on Shankara's prime disciples.
Thank you. Many pranams to Adi Shankaracharya. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om Amma and to all. Today I'll be talking about prime disciples of Adi Shankaracharya. Guru Sishya Parampara is vibrant and integral part of our Hindu culture, and it has thrived and flourished over the centuries. When there was a need to pass on any spiritual, powerful, profound knowledge, it was done in safe, trusting, and intimate manner between Guru and Sishya. Sri Shankaracharya had many disciples, but among them only 4 were qualified to become the prime disciples. Hastamalakacharya. Prabhakara, a Brahmin in a village near Kollur village, had a son who was a lunatic and good for nothing. When he heard that Adi Shankaracharya was coming to the village, he took the son to Shankaracharya and put across his dilemma. As soon as the son saw Adi Shankaracharya, he prostrated in front of Adi Shankaracharya and started chanting Hasta Malakacharya Stotram, meaning the clarity of knowledge as clear as Amalakai in a palm of a hand. Therefore, he was called as a Hasta Malakacharya. He was placed in Govardhana Mutt in East and earmarked to make a special study on Rig Veda and meditate upon Prajnanam Brahman. Next, we have Sri Sureshwaracharya. His name is Mandana Mishra, was leading a life of an average householder. And he was a brilliant exponent of Purva Mimamsa, committed to Vedic rituals and karmas. Once there was a mature and prolonged debate between Adi Shankaracharya and Mandana Mishra. Later on, Mandana Mishra accepted that Shankara's Advaita Vedanta for self-realization and that Karma Kanda and Upasana Kanda is a preparation for Jnana Kanda. He went on to write a commentary on Dakshina Murti Stotram called Manasa Ullasa. He was placed in South and earmarked to make a special study on Yajur Veda and meditate upon Aham Brahmasmi. Next, we have Sri Padmapadacharya. He is regarded highly in his teachings. Shankara had asked him to comment on Bhashyam Brahma Sutra. And later on he was placed in Dwaraka West and earmarked to study on Samaveda and meditate upon Tattvamasi. Lastly, we have Sri Totakacharya. Giri is the actual name. He was more interested in serving the Acharya than attending the Vedic classes. Giri is said to have praised Adi Shankaracharya in 8 brilliant stanzas in Totaka meter. Therefore, Adi Shankaracharya called him Totakacharya. He condensed the essential teaching of Upanishad, Shruti Sara Samudharanam, which holds high in Advaita Vedanta. He was placed in North and earmarked to make a special study on Atharva Veda and meditate upon Ayam Atma Brahma. Why are these maths so important? These maths are like pillars, 4 pillars, serving our society in teaching Sanatana Dharma and Vedantas in sustainable manner over a generation withstanding several external odds and disturbances. These pillars serve as preservation of Vedas through Gurukula system, enabling cultural identity and propagation through festivals, art, and literature, and also they do seva to community and guide people to balance lifestyle. Hari Om Tat Sat.
Thank you so much, Gayatri ji. Now, this really inspires us to be good disciples ourselves. After listening to your talk on these 4 great disciples of Shankara, I think we can also take a small step towards being better disciples. And yes, I think contemplating on good thoughts, having satsang, and thinking about good things is a small step towards that of being a good disciple and bringing a small change in the world. Thank you so much. And now I welcome Niharika ji. She will be talking on the insights of Atma Bodha.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Today, I would like to talk about the insights which I have learned from this text called Atma Bodha. On the occasion of Shankara Jayanti, let us first take the blessings from our Guru Parampara, and I would like to place my humble thanks towards Swami Sumatmananda for being my Guru, and I seek the blessings of the lineage. And I also wish that all the mumukshus who are present here, we should always be steadfast on the path of this moksha purushartha, and may we not have any obstacles in our spiritual journey. I request Saraswati Devi, Kamalajdaite, to ensure that we have Samskrita Manas. We should develop more Daivi Sampat, and we should upgrade ourselves to Uttama Adhikaris and strive for Jivan Mukti in this Janma only. Now, let me present a small background of this text. Atma Bodha is a Prakarana Grantha. And what is Prakarana Grantha? It is nothing but a supporting text written by Shankaracharya to understand the main source of Vedanta. It contains 68 slokas and they are all in Anushtup meter. Now, what is the benefit of studying this Atma Bodha? And what is Atma Bodha? Self-knowledge. So already Amma has covered what is Atma and Bodha. I do not want to delve deep into that. But what is the benefit? Now, the benefit is moksha. Now, what is moksha? Is moksha a visit to Vaikuntha or Kailasa? Or is it the freedom from the attachment, the psychological dependence, the fear, insecurities which we have, and the anxiety? Yes, before coming to these classes, I thought Lord is there in somewhere in Kailasa and Vaikuntha. And then I realized that what exactly is freedom? That is the cognitive shift which we need to develop. Am I really having attachment towards the relationship? Am I always constantly missing something? Am I always clinging to something, whether be it food or the possessions and all? Am I psychologically or emotionally dependent or independent? What are the fears which I am having because of all these? Will these external positions give me security? Am I having anxiety about future, about my kids? So what exactly is freedom? Freedom is from all. Freedom means that you should not have attachment because we know that these are all anatma. Now, what is the fundamental problem? The self ignorance. Now, because of self ignorance, we identify ourselves with body, mind, and complex. And because of avidya, we are attached to karma and then karma and this janma. This is an unending loop of cycle of births and deaths. And what is the solution? That is jnanam. So that is what Shankara has presented and is also emphasized in verse 2 that the only one path to moksha is jnana, not karma or not upasana or not not these other things. It is only jnanam. So I just want to share a small story in this. That is, there are three friends who are going, and when they were walking, they saw in the pitch dark that there is a snake. So the karmachari, he was about to bring a stick and kill the snake. And the second upasana, the person, he thought he will utter some mantras. And the third person, who is jnani, he said, please wait, let me actually switch on my torchlight. So when the torchlight is on, all of them have realized that it is nothing but a rope. So now, because of Vidya, and that is the Maya Shakti, we have projected this world as real. So if we remove that is, if we remove the veiling, then we will understand what is the real truth. Shankaracharya, for ease of use, he has utilized many metaphors in this text. That is the fire, first one. As Agni is the only source for cooking, yes, we do require vegetables, we do require cooking vessels and gas and all, but Agni is the most important item. Just like how light dispels the darkness, the sunlight. So these are the common examples which Shankaracharya has taken so that we can understand easily the Atma Tattva. Now, another simile which he has taken is the nut powder, that is the kataka. And that is, I have also understood that what we have, this is just for information and a fact that what we have used in our olden days when I was researching about this, the recent NASA scientists, they were also using this kataka nut to purify water. This is just a fact. Now, we also mistake and that is the silver for the pearl, which we usually find. So these are the common metaphors which are used. Now, some of the insights which we have learned from this is, first, to understand this Atma Bodha, am I really the Adhikari? Now, what are the qualifications to gain this knowledge, the self-knowledge? Do I have it? Do I have the Viveka? Do I have this discrimination? What is Atma and Anatma? Do I have the Vairagya of Nachiketa? Because he was provoked and he was offered by Dharmaraja.
Harika, we are past the time. If we can soon wrap up.
Yeah, just one moment. So, do we have the Vairagya of Nachiketa? And we have already studied about the Shat Sampatti, the Shamaha and Damaha, and we should have the desire for liberation. So the concluding remarks which I would like to say is, we need to make sure that we are just the contributors, and we should have the samatvam and the endurance. The goal needs to be kept as moksha and as the samsara is the problem, and we have physical and emotional and intellectual limitations. So let us strive to remove the self-ignorance through Atmajnanam. Om Tat Sat.
Thank you, Niharika ji. Can you unshare your presentation? Yes. Thank you so much, Niharika, for reminding us that self-knowledge is so vital. We realize this concept is perennial. It is of all perennial interest and universal value. And very clearly, you connected it to real life situations where we see it in our daily lives, where how we struggle to connect with this principle. Yes, also we flowed along with all the lovely flow charts that you presented. Thank you, Niharika. And now I call upon Padma Umesh to chant Nirvana Shatakam. Padma ji.
My Purna Namaskarams, Om Shankara, Har Har Shankara, Shankara. My Purna Namaskarams to Jagadguru Sri Adi Shankaracharya, Pujya Sri Dayananda Swamiji, Pujya Sri Tattvavidananda Swamiji, Pujya Sri Smatmananda Swami Amma, Om Sri Guru Namaha. Today on this Utsav, I am talking and chanting on the text Nirvana Shikam. The word Nirvana refers to moksha, self-realization, enlightenment, and Shat refers to 6. So this text talking about self-realization and the nature of the self in 6 verses. Nirvana also refers to formless, and the text talks about the formless nature of the self in 6 verses. So separate the aham with from other many things as neti, neti, and add one reason with Paramatma Bhavana as meditation, means practiced in samadhi on loving kindness. So we do upasana, aham as Paramatma Bhavana, the form of consciousness and bliss. This is known as Siva. No duality, formlessness, it's everywhere. It's pervading all senses, neither attached, neither free, nor bondage. That is the Chaitanya Jyoti natural state. Now I am chanting Nirvana Shaktam. My pronouns to all sadhakas also in present on this utsav. Mano Buddhahankara Chittani Naham Nacha Srotra Jihve Nacha Grana Netre Nacha Vyoma Bhumin Natejo Navayu Chidananda Rupa Sivoham Sivoham Nacha Prana Sanyo Navai Pancha Vayu Nava Sapta Dhatu Nava Pancha Kosha Nava Pani Padam Nachopastha Payu Chidananda Rupa Sivoham Sivoham Chidananda Rupa Sivoham Sivoham Name Dvesha Raghu Name Lobha Moha Madho Naiva Menavai Maschaya Bhavaha Nadhammo Nachato Nakamo Namoksha Chidananda Rupa Sivoham Sivoham Chidananda Rupa Sivoham Sivoham Na punyam na papam na saukyam na dukkham na mantro na tidham na veda na yajna Aham bhojanam naiva bodhyam na bhokta Chidananda Rupa Sivoham Sivoham चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् न मृत्युर्न शङ्का न मे जातिभेदः पिता नैव मे नैव माता न जन्म न बन्धुर्न मित्रं गुरुर्नैव शिष्यः चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् अहं निर्विकल्पो निराकाररूपो विभुत्वाच्च सर्वत्र सर्वेन्द्रियाणां न चासङ्गतं नैव मुक्तिर्न मेयः चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम्. Thank you, Amma.
Thank you, Padma ji. Indeed, Shivoham, Shivoham. You have spread bliss and peace among all of us. And seeing you chanting each word with so much devotion was a joy indeed. Thank you so much again. And we all are now feeling that we are Chit Ananda Swarupas over here in this web space. Thank you. Now we go ahead to the next talk. And this talk will be presented by Sudhaji. Sudhaji, I invite you to talk on Brahma Satyam and Jagat Mithya.
Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Shloka Ardhena Pravakshami Yaduktam Grantha Kotibhi Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva Napara. The last two lines form the famous half sloka, the iconic quote of Adi Shankaracharya. Adi Shankaracharya declares, in a half a sloka, I can explain how Brahman alone is ultimately the Satyam, the world is only appearance on Brahman, and the Jiva is identical with Brahman. Actually, before Shankara also, there were many philosophers, Advaita philosophy, but Shankara's intellectual treatment made Advaita more logical and systematic. Now let us dwell briefly upon each word, Brahma, Satyam, Jagan, Mithya. Brahman, we all know, is the fundamental reality which is the Adhara for the entire universe. Tat Chit Ananda Swarupa. It is eternal, birthless, deathless, changeless, attributeless, limitless, causeless, cause. Upanishad says Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. And it exists independently beyond time and space. What about Satyam? Here Satyam means, we mean Paramarthika Satya. It never changes. It exists as it is in the past, present, and in future also. It is independent entity, not depending on any aspect. And it is eternal, non-negatable. What about Jagat? Jagat is the entire diverse universe with all the Nama, Rupa, Kriya, which is ever changing. Jayate, Gacchati, iti Jagat. Now we come to the most difficult word of this sloka, Mithya. Mithya is neither real nor unreal. It is something in between. See, this world is not totally unreal, like the horns of a rabbit, or flowers blooming from the sky, or a circle in the form of a square. At the same time, Vedanta says it is not real also, difficult for us to believe. In Manisha Panchagam, Shankara says the Jagat is Maya Kalpitam, it is only in the mind. When we say the Jagat is not real, it is from the Paramarthik Satyam point of view. It is not fulfilling the definition of Paramarthika Satyam. Let us see how. Number one, Paramarthika Satyam is constant, it never changes, but the Jagat keeps on changing. You see a flower in the morning, it fades away in the evening. Our body is there today, tomorrow it may not be there. So when is this changing like that? How can we call the Jagat as real? Next is, it is a dependent entity. Just like the pot depends on the clay for its existence, Jagat depends on Brahman for its existence. So in Dakshinamurti Sloka also, Shankara says, the entire universe with all the names and forms is like a reflected city in the mirror which is Brahman. No mirror means no reflection. So a dependent entity cannot be real. Next, Jagat is impermanent. It appears and disappears. It is negatable. This is well explained with the dream example. Before that, I'm just telling you a story. King Janaka once dreamt that he was defeated by his enemy and he was banished from his kingdom. He was roaming about in the forest without food. He was begging for food. Finally, he managed to get little food, and when he was about to eat that, a dog snatched it away. Suddenly he woke up and he found himself in the palace. The queen was there, the servants were there. King Janaka got confused. Was the role of beggar real, or is the role of king real? Was that true, or is this true? He went on asking this question to everyone. Then sage Ashtavakra came to the palace and he explained the role of beggar also was not real. The role of king is also not real. Only your true self, Brahman, is real. See, actually, when we dream, what happens? Whatever we see in the dream world, we consider that to be real. At that time, the waking world is totally absent. So, from the reference, with the standpoint of dream world, the waking world becomes mithya. Then, when we wake up, we understand whatever we dreamt was not real. So, from the waking world, the external world point of view, the dream world becomes unreal. What happens in the sound sleep? Dreams are also not there. The waking world is also not present because the mind is switched off. So what is there? Only the Brahman as Satyam is present.
7-4 చెప్పవా? Please mute yourself. 4-6-47. Please mute yourself. Yeah.
Only the Brahman as Satyam is present in all the three avasthas as avasthatraya sakshi. So, one jnani, he realizes he is one with the Brahman. He understands this. So, from the Brahman point of view, both the dream world and even the world which we see, the external world, that becomes unreal. In Atma Bodha, Shankara says, the Jagat appears to be true only so long as the Brahman is not realized. What is the cause for taking the Jagat to be real? Why do we think so? Because of our ignorance and adhyasa, erroneous understanding, just as we think rope to be a snake in darkness. Now, what is the advantage of understanding Brahma Satyam and Jagan Mithya? Is there any use? Yes. When in darkness we thought the rope was snake, when we go near it, when the light falls on it, because of that knowledge, we understand it is only a rope, the fear goes away. We mistake a shell to be silver. We develop a desire. We go near that. When we see, oh, it's not silver, the desire goes away. Same way, with self-knowledge, when we understand about the nature of this impermanent changing Jagat, we can rise above all our likes, dislikes, fear, insecure feeling, desire, and we get the peace of mind. But the Mithya Jagat, the body, mind, and word, the Mithya components can be used as the means to reach our goal of attaining self-knowledge. In Viveka Chudamani also, Shankara points out this Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya gives us the Nitya Anitya Viveka. With the help of that Viveka, we can get detached from this Mithya world. So, in conclusion, I want to say how beautifully Shankara in half a sloka brings out the cause for samsara and also the solution from it. What is the cause? Because we are all being hypnotized by avidya maya, thinking the world to be real. That becomes the cause for samsara. And what is the solution? Getting dehypnotized by getting the true knowledge to understand the world is mithya. It's only a projection of maya. Brahman is Satyam. and we are also that Brahman. So I bow down to the brilliance of Adi Shankaracharya, who has brought out the entire essence of Advaita Vedanta in this half a sloka, Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Om Tat Sat.
Thank you, Sudhaji. Yes, Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya, few words, but such a profound meaning which you have brought out in front of us. And Sudhaji, while you were talking, you elevated us up above this false Mithya world. And now we have to come back to the real world. Is it a dream or reality? And at present it is a waking world. And Sudhaji, as you rightly said, that we should not focus on the false, but start pursuing the one and only permanent, everlasting truth. Thank you. Now we go on to the next talk, and that is by Lakshmi ji. Lakshmi ji will be talking on the glory of Shankara Bhashya in Kathopanishad.
Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. My pranams to the whole Guru Parampara. On the occasion of Shankara Jayanti celebration, I would like to give a talk about a sloka, a mantra from Kathopanishad. Kathopanishad belongs to the Kata Shaka of the Krishna Yajurveda. The teaching of this Upanishad is presented in the form of a dialogue between young Nachiketa, who had gone to the abode of Yama, the king of death, in search of the mystery underlying the life and death of mortals. Nachiketa, a student, is the seeker, and Yama, the teacher, than whom there could be none better to impart the knowledge sought by the young student. Here, I would like to take up one mantra, that is the first mantra from Tritiya Valli. In the earlier mantras, knowledge and ignorance have been presented, but they have not been ascertained properly together with their results. To understand more about this, in this Valli, Rathakalpana is introduced. Then it becomes easy to understand about Vidya and Avidya. Yama introduces two concepts in this Valli, that is Jivatma and Paramatma, to distinguish between the attained and attainer. Now let me read this mantra. Ritam pibantau sukritasya loke guham pravishtav parame parardhe chayadapau brahma vido vadanti panchagnayoho ye cha trinachiketah. Now, Shankara has given through his Bhashyam beautiful meaning about this sloka. Let us see what Shankara says in his Bhashyam. Ritam. Ritam means Satyam, truth. In this context, Satyam is Karma Bhalam, and Pibantau, this Dvivachanam, two drinkers. Here, experiences. Jivatma and Paramatma are experiencing Karma Bhalam. Sukritam, Swayam Kritam, what is done by oneself. These Jivatma and Paramatma, as though entered Buddhi Guha, they are considered as two in this Buddhi Guha. But Jivatma is same as Paramatma. Only a Jnani know about this. And Loke means within this body, Guha is the Buddhi Guha, that is intellect, and Parame in the supreme, that is the space inside the heart is considered to be supreme than the space outside. And Parardhe, into that supreme abode of Brahman. Here, Shankaracharya explains in his Bhashyam, giving a simple example for a common person. That is Chatrinyayena. Where so many people are going, one is having an umbrella. Somebody seeing them from far, they say, look at those going, they are having umbrellas. So, same way, here only Jivatma is experiencing Karma Balam, but it is said that both Jivatma and Paramatma are having Karma Balam, experiencing Karma Balam. Because of the connection of one having umbrella, all are said to be going with umbrella. Same thing is explained here. And further, our body is a temple. Heart space is Garbhagriha, where Atma Tattvam shines. Shankaracharya explains further, the karma phalam is the only thing which cannot be negated. Here comes the role of Guru to give us Margadarshanam. Guru explains, Paramatma blesses Jivatma, Akarta, Abhokta, like Sakshi bird. These pairs are experiencing together in the space of heart, one's heart, like Chaya and Atapa, means shade and light. Reflect consciousness and original consciousness. Light will dispel objects. Atma Tattvam is invisible, available only in Buddhi. One is samsari and the other one is asamsari. They are just opposite in nature, like Chaya and Atapa. Further, the Bhashyam, Shankaracharya explains, Atma is independent and Atma is dependent. Reflective sensation will move on. Paramatma is simply gets reflected in the Sukshma Sharira. They are coexisting but opposite in nature. The knower of Brahma, that is the Brahma Jnani, talks about all these things. Ritualists following Karma Kanda are called Panchagnayaha. Shankara says they are Vaidika Grhastaha. They maintain 5 fires. Also, they are Trinachiketaha, 3 times performers of Nachiketa Yajna. They also believe in Paramatma and Jivatma, but their goal is different. To attain some other world like Swarga or Brahmaloka, and from there they will get Jivan Mukti, Krama Mukti. They are called Karma Kanda followers. Whereas Mumukshu wants to understand Atma Tattvam right now, here itself. So they are called Jnana Kanda followers. Jnanameva Moksha. This way, with the help of Shankara Bhashyam, they are able to understand the Atma Tattvam. Also, with Amma's excellent teachings and guidance, there is no doubt that we all Mumukshus will be able to get moksham in this Janma itself. Om Tat Sat.
Thank you so much, Lakshmi ji. Thank you for the simplicity and the clarity by which you took us through this tough concept. Yes, very patiently you told us the word by word meaning of the words, Sanskrit words, which was so nice to hear in your voice, Lakshmi ji. I thank you once again. Now we go to the next talk, and that would be by Uma Maheshwar. She is going to talk on Guru Mahima based on Guru Ashtakam.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Amma Namaskaram. Sarvebhyo Namaskaraha. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurureva Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. In lieu of Shankara Jayanti function, I am giving a speech on Guru Mahima and Guru Ashtakam written by Sri Adi Shankaracharya. This day marks the birth of a great spiritual scholar, Adi Shankara. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Bhadarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritam Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha. ஒரு மனிதன் ஞானம் அடைவதற்கு ஒரு குருவின் துணை இன்றியமையாதது. அஞ்ஞானம் என்ற இருளை அகற்றி ஞானமாகி ஒளியை தருபவரே குரு. தனியாக ஒரு மனிதன் சிந்தித்து பரம்பொருளை உணர்ந்து ஞானம் அடைவது கடினம். குரு தான் பெற்ற அனுபவங்களில் இருந்து ஞானம் பெறுவதை எளிமையாக்கி தன் சிஷ்யனுக்கு அருள்கிறார். அதனால் சிஷ்யன் விரைவில் ஞானம் பெறுகிறார். ஆனால் குருவின் ஞான உபதேசம் ஞான வேட்கை, thirst of ஞானம் உள்ளவர்களுக்கே கிடைக்கும். அவர்களாலேயே அந்த உபதேசத்தை புரிந்து கொள்ள முடியும். குருவே சிவனாகவும், குருவே விஷ்ணுவாகவும், குருவே பிரம்மாவாகவும், குருவே பிரம்மமாகவும் இருக்கிறார். குருவுக்கு நிகரானது எதுவும் இல்லை. குரு சச்சிதானந்த ரூபமானவர், பரிபூர்ணமாக திகழ்பவர். குருவின் பாத சுவடுகளை வணங்கினாலே கடவுளின் பூரண ஆசி நமக்கு கிடைக்கும். குருவின் பாத தீர்த்தமே கங்கை. உண்மையாக கூற வேண்டும் என்றால், மனிதனின் பாவங்களிலிருந்து மீட்டு நம்மை நல்வழிப்படுத்தி அவன் மனதிலே ஞான ஒளியை ஏற்றுபவர் குரு என்ற எண்ணம் உடைய ஒரு சிஷ்யனும் விரைவில் ஞானம் பெறுகிறார். குரு சில சமயங்களில் சிஷ்யனுக்கு எதுவும் சொல்லித்தராமலே தன்னுடைய அருள் மூலமாகவே அவனுக்கு ஞானத்தை அளிப்பார். இவ்வாறு செய்யும் முறை தீட்சை என்பார்கள். கடவுளையே குருதான் காட்டுகிறார் என்பதால் குருவிற்கு அவ்வளவு மகிமையும் பெருமையும் உள்ளது. மாதா பிதா குரு தெய்வம் என்பார்கள். தெய்வத்திற்கு முன் குருவிற்கான இடம் அளிக்கப்பட்டு இருக்கின்றது என்பதிலிருந்து நாம் குருவின் மகிமையை நன்றாக உணரலாம். This is an interesting incident about Sri Adi Shankaracharya visit to Tirudaimardur. In 1964, Sri Adi Shankara visited Mahalinga Swami and prayed with his disciples, who brought Advaitam, Dvaitam difference to the general public. Advaitam is Satyam. This Ashariri heard 3 times from Mahalinga Swami that is real. After that, Adi Shankara spread Advaita Vedanta to the world. The sculpture of Sri Adi Shankaracharya standing in front of Lord Shiva with his dandam can be seen even today in Shankaramat. This Shiva is on my background screen. Adi Shankara, in his Guru Ashtagam, repeated telling the disciple that no matter how many worlds, pleasures you have, if your mind is not united with the lotus feet of the Guru, then what is the use of our birth? Guru Ashtagam was composed by Sri Adi Shankara. This is a little different from the Dakshinamurti Ashtagams, which praise Dakshinamurti, because it is not an Ashtagam on the Guru itself directly. Rather, the focus on the significance of a Guru in the life of Sishya. Akantamantalaakaram vyaptam yena characharam tatpadam darshitam yena tasmai shri gurave namaha. What is tatpadam? Tatpadam is the supreme tattvam which pervades the entire universe. That tatpadam is brought to light, taught by the Guru. What is the role of the Guru? It is certainly not an easy one. Guru's responsibility is to negate and chip off the erroneous notions and conclusions in the mind of a Sishya. In short, Guru does apavada of Adhyaropa. Guru Ashtagam strongly says, Tatakim, 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 Tatakim. Tatakim means what if? You have everything in the world, but do not surrender to the lotus feet of the Guru. Of what is the use of that? This is the essence of the whole stotram. The stotram emphasizes Guru Kripa. The Guru Kripa is in the form of Upadesha because Guru unfolds the Shastra. Guru is the GPS who navigates us through the stages of life, and Guru Shishya bond is the most intimate bond. Why? Because it denotes the Nitya Sambandha or permanence between the Paramatma and Jivatma. Atma Tattvam is Guru Tattvam. The following verse talking about the importance of Guru Kripa in one's life. Shariram Shurupam Tatava Kalatram Yashascharu Chitram Dhanam Meru Tulyam Gururang Gripatme Manaschena Lagnam Tatakim 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 Tatakim. Gururangri Padme என்பதில் அங்கிரி பத்மே என்பது தாமரை மலர் ஒத்த பாதங்களை குறிக்கும். குருவின் பாதங்கள் தாமரை மலர் போன்றது. அந்த தாமரை மலர் போன்ற தூய்மையான பாதங்களுக்கு இந்த உலகத்திலே தூய்மைப்படுத்தும் சக்தி இருக்கிறது. உலகத்தையே தூய்மைப்படுத்தும் சக்தி இருக்கின்றது. அழகான சரீரம், நல்ல மனைவி, புகழ், செல்வம் எல்லாவற்றையும் ஒருவன் அடைந்தாலும் நான், எனது, எல்லாம் எனக்கே சொந்தம், நானே செய்பவன், நானே அனுபவிப்பவன் என்ற மனப்பான்மையில் இருந்தால் என்ன பயன்? ஒருவன் தன் குரு தத்துவத்தின் உயர்நிலைக்கு சரணாகதி அடையாவிட்டால் என்ன பயன்? இவை எல்லாம் இருந்தும் மனதில் திருப்தி, நிம்மதி இல்லை. It is due to avidya or ignorance. There is no end to seeking. Still the heart is insecure because I have not surrendered to the lotus feet of the Guru. Paravidya is a higher knowledge of the supreme reality. Aparavidya is the content of the Karmaganda portion of the Vedas, including the Shadangas or limbs of Vedas. One may be literally accomplishments, but if the mind is not surrendered to the lotus feet of the Guru, what is the use of these achievements? May one bring more Ishvara to one's life. One may be respected in a foreign country and gain fame, bring home glories by achievements. What is the use? Without surrendering to the lotus feet of the Guru, higher Ishwaram. Acharya asked, you are falling short of the ultimate goal of the Moksha Purushartha. Mahatmas like Pujya Swamiji never take any credit for the achievements that will one with Ishvara. That is the Swarupa of the Mahatmas. Such should be the attitude of the Sishya who wishes to bring that Guru Tattvam in one's life. One remains a Vairagi or living in the forest. That kind of Vairakyam will not lead to Jnanapalam or fruit. It due to fruit. It is due to the avidya or ignorance. There is no end to seeking. Because I have not surrendered to the lotus feet of the Guru. Finally, Acharya wishes to express that without the grace of the Guru or Guru Krupa, one cannot attain moksha. Surrender to a Guru includes supporting the Guru's institution and initiatives like aim for seva, uploading dharma in any way of possible, and to follow the Vedic way of life. A Guru is one who has the highest knowledge and who is ever engaged in the upliftment of the Sishya. Acharya is saying true surrender is to follow the Upadesha in the form of consistent Shravanam, Mananam, and Nidityasanam under the guidance of a live Guru who has a Sishya before and who is now a link in the glorious lineage of teachers. Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Parambaram. Om Tat Sat. Krishnarpnamastu.
Thank you, Umaji. Yes, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. I would say this again after listening to your talk. You have reminded us of the importance of a Guru in our life. You have reminded us that we are blessed to have a Guru. And you have reminded us it is God who sends the Guru our way. And we are blessed to be in touch with such a Guru. So Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha once again. You really have told us about the Guru Mahima. And thank you, Umaji. Now we go ahead to the next talk, and that is by Shubha. And she'll be talking on Pratnas. What was your stotra? Yes, thank you. Contemplation on dawn.
Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hara Hara Shankara, Jai Jaya Shankara. Hara Hara Shankara, Jai Jaya Shankara. My topic is on Radhasmarana Sostram. Contemplation of at dawn on Atma Tattvam. This Radhasmarana Sostram is the morning prayer composed by Adi Shankara. Even though it is the Sostram, it is also a Prakarana Grantha as it deals with Vedanta. The Sostram goes like this. Om Pradasmarami Hridi Samspura Atmatattvam Satsit Sukham Paramahamsa Gadim Turiyam Yat Swapna Jagara Shushuptim Mavaidi Nityam Tad Brahma Nishkalamagam Nacha Bhuta Sangaha Pradarbhajami manasa vachasa magamyam vacho nibhanti nikilam yadanakrahena yam neti neti vachanai nigama vochuhu tam deva deva majam achyudam magurragyam Pradharnamami tamasa paramargavarnam Purnam sanadana padam purushotamakyam Yasmin nidam jagadasesham aseshamudau Rajvam bujangam iva pradibhasitam vai. The first verse, Acharya says, at dawn, I recollect, that is Marami, on Atma Tattvam, in their heart space, that is Hriti, or mind space, that is awareness. He then describes nature of Atma as Satchit Sukham, because by just saying the Sostram is not good. we should know the meaning of the Sostram, then only we can contemplate on Atma, Atma Tattvam. He then described the nature of Atma as Sat Chit Sukham. Sat means isness, that is pure existence. Chit means knowing principle, lending sentient to body, mind, sense complex, through which we, the Jiva, are transacting in the Vyavaharika world. Sukham is nothing but Anandam, that is fullness, blissfulness. Real Anandam is in our mind only. Other Anandam like Vishayananda are not the permanent one. All are the fractions of the fullness only. This Atma Tattvam is the main goal for Brahma Hamsas who pursues Atma Tattvam in the waking itself, that is Vivekis. The third, then he says, this Atman is the Turiyam, that is the fourth factor, which is the witness of waking, dream, and deep sleep stage. That is Avastha Traya Sakshi. This Atman is Nishkama, partlessness, like space. Bhuda Shankraha, not the aggregate of Panchabhudas. Unlike Annamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, and Vijnanamaya Kosha, as described in Tattva Bodha by Adi Shankara. In the second verse, Acharya uses the word Bhajami, that is Atma Tattvam, or direct, that is, we should direct the mind towards the Atma Tattvam, which is self-effulgent in the art space cognitively. Agamyam, that is, by the Agamyam means not experienceable. That is, it is mere experience. That Atma is the mere experiencer. By whose blessings all the body, mind, senses or functions. If Atma is not perceived, then how can we meditate on upon it? For this, Shankara tells that Shastra, that is Nigama, or shown the root. That is, by neti prakriya, or by negating the body, mind, sense complex, one can realize the nature of Atma. Lastly, in this verse, he says that the Atma is Lord of all God, unborn, unchanging, and causeless of cause. In the third verse, the core Vedanta talks about. Here, he uses the word namami, that is, I bow down to Atma Tattvam. In this verse, he says, Atma is beyond darkness or ignorance. Tamoguna is the symbol of ignorance or aparavidya. It is free from all desires or fullness. Eternal board for liberation. Purushottamam, highest supreme padam. Here, Adi Shankara uses Raju Sarpa analogy to describe the Jagat is superimposed on rope. In the dark, due to our fear, we perceive rope as snake. Likewise, due to our ignorance, we are not realizing the Jagat, that Jagat is Mithya and Brahman is only Satyam. The Jagat is superimposed on Brahman. So, by contemplating on Atma Tattvam in the early hours, by chanting this Stostram, knowing the meaning, one will get calmness, Samatvam, I notion will disappear. Arpana Buddhi and Prasada Buddhi will prevail. By consistent Maranam of this sloka, definitely one will get inward shift cognitively. Om Tat Sat.
Thank you. Thank you for this talk, Subhaji, on the contemplation on dawn. You have taken us and made us think about the fact that the serenity of the dawn and silent time of the day can be recreated right in our heart space. Now, I call upon Deepa. Deepa will be talking on oneness, the foundation of social harmony. I welcome Deepa to speak.
Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. My topic today will be on oneness as the foundation of social harmony, as illustrated by Adi Shankara's Manisha Panchakam. In today's chaotic world, how can we restore social harmony? Our answer lies in Advaita Vedanta as propounded by Adi Shankara and illustrated through his work Manisha Panchakam. Is there a disturbance? The universe is Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Ishvara Tattvam is present in all, friend and foe in equal measure. When you understand that the divine spark in you is there in equal measure in everyone, you will perceive the inherent goodness in all beings. That oneness is the foundation for social harmony. As the Chandrayaan landed on the dark side of the moon, every Indian was united for those few minutes in an overarching feeling of connectedness. How do you amplify that feeling? The Bhagavad Gita says that when you Ishwarize your life, there's a Samadarshana or awareness of the oneness in all beings. Vasudeva Kutumbakam is understanding that everyone on this planet is Ishwara's family and we are an Amsh of the Supreme. Adi Shankara's Manisha Panchakam brings out the Advaita essence of the Vedanta in 5 verses. There are 4 Mahavakyams and the Falashruti. The story goes like this. Adi Shankara was proceeding from the bathing cart down a small lane leading to the Kashi Vishwanatha temple when his path is blocked by a Chandala. He orders the Chandala to move away from the path. The Chandala challenges him and asks the question, what do you want moved away? The Atma or the Anatma body? It is a belief that the Chandala was actually Lord Shiva in disguise, and the dialogue is between the 2 aspects of Shiva as Lord Shankara, the Guru, and Adi Shankara, the renunciate. The Atman in me is the all-pervasive Paramatman. It is embedded as a thread within all our lives and is seated as the Drik or witness to everything. That is my Manisha or conclusion that is born of intellectual discrimination. The Mahavakyam Aham Brahmasmi. Here, the Jnani transcends the limitation of the ego and attains unity and oneness with all of existence. In the Prajnanam Brahma, we see the Samvit, the pure consciousness, manifests in Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti avasthas as the empowering Atma Tattvam. Here, Atma is Drik, the seer. In Tattvamasi Mahavakyam, I am that one of calm mind who constantly meditates upon Brahman, has burnt his past and future sins in the fire of Jnana, who submits his present body to the completion of his prarabdha karma with joyful surrender and has no more identification with the Anatma body. I am Atma Brahmi. This self is Brahman and the Jnani is Galita or merged with the ocean of Ananda. He is Brahmavit, Brahmaiva Bhavati. The knower of the Brahman becomes the Brahman. Here, knowing and being are one and the same. So how do you stay in spiritual oneness? When you internalize the vision of oneness, you find that inner peace and no more struggle to be happy or chase security. You have a calm mind. You calm the mind and senses with meditation, pranayama, om chanting. You do shravanam, mananam, nididhyasanam to cast off the veils that camouflage the Atman. And you work with the community towards loka sangraha. Also, you are conscious of your thought, deed, and action, manasa, vacha, karmana, using the 5-fold filter to analyze your behavior. The Triguna model of Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas that drives the Anatma goals and understand how action is fueled by Raga and Dvesha. Sattva Guna sees oneness in all. That is what we want. Rajoguna sees diversity and divides the community. Tamoguna pushes individual ideas of oneness and promotes religious aggression. So how do we elevate oneself? Not my circus, not my monkey is a very popular saying. It means that you don't have to jump into every argument that you're invited to respond. Don't react to situations. Perceive the world as a family and support each other in our journey. Serve others in a spirit of give and take. Understand that what affects one affects all, and you'll always strive for the greater good. And finally, remember, We are all vibrations of love. Live life with an overarching feeling of gratitude. Namaste to oneness. I recognize the divinity in you, which is also the divinity in me. Om Tat Sat.
Thank you so much, Deepaji, for this well-researched talk. Yes, we need to be aware of the oneness between amongst us all. And the Chandrayaan example was so beautiful. Pride brought us together. And even without pride, we all are one. And that is what I think you want to make us realize. And definitely, as you said, the most powerful aspect, love, which overcomes and conquers all. Thank you so much, Deepa. And that was the last talk for today from the student presentation. And now I invite Swamini Amma to come and say a few words.
Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Jai Jai Shankara, Hara Hara Shankara. I don't think there is anything left for me to tell. We have seen such, beautiful series of talks by all of you today as well on the second day. So I will just try to connect a few threads here and round up, these Jayanti celebrations. Now, we heard today how brilliantly and how systematically and how consistently Adi Shankaracharya unfolds the vision of Vedanta across the range of the Shastras. Sudha took up that, half a shloka, Artha Shlokena Pravakshami Yaduktam Grantha Kotibihi Brahma Satyam Jaganmithya Brahmaiva Jivo Na Paraha. Not even half a shloka. And we see that with this one shloka, the Mahavakyam is over. Then we proceeded to Kumada. Kumada took up the Eka Shloki. Yeah, in the Eka Shloki, we see how the Guru guides the Shishya's mind from the grosser lights up to the subtlemost Jyotisham Jyotihi Atma Jyoti. And then we heard Shubha, beautifully saying, talking about the 3 verses of Pratasmaranam. And if you chant this in the morning, I do it every day. There is a greater chance to be anchored in this vision throughout the day. Yeah. And then the Panchakam by Lakshmi, Lakshmi took us on a pilgrimage, pilgrimage to the temple that is so close at hand, that is the heart itself. And through the 40 instructions in the 5 verses, we were able to have this Atma Darshanam. And Shankara himself has said, Atma Darshanam is Ishvara Darshanam. Yeah? And then the Nirvana Shatkam, sung beautifully by Padma, is, as you know, the song of liberation. How will this Jnani rejoice? By saying, by singing the song of liberation. And then we saw the Ashtakams, the Guru Mahima by Uma and Dakshinamurti Stotram, they all glorify the Adi Guru. Without Guru's grace, nothing is possible. And so the list goes on, numbers we know are all Nithya. So we have the Dashashloki, which I want to do at some point. And then we heard Bhajagovindam of 30 plus verses by Padma yesterday. And today, again, a gist of the Atma Bodha, 60 plus shlokas. And then we have a Shatashloki, 100 verses. And goes on, Viveka Chidamani, 500 plus. And ultimately, Upadesha Sahasri, which is 1,000. So you see that these are just numbers, but across the range of Shastra, Adi Shankaracharya unfolds only the Ekatma Tattvam, the oneness, the Atma Tattvam, very, very consistently. So I want to point out, 2 highlights. Shankaracharya is famous for 2 main teachings. One is, you all know that, Jnanameva Mokshaha, Chittasya Shuddhaye Karma, Natu Vastu Upalabdhaye. That is, all the karmas, the sadhanas are important, but they play a secondary role for Chitta Shuddhi. But like fire alone cooks, so Jnanameva Mokshaha. So this, gaining this Jnanam is the direct sadhana or the means. Yeah. Then the second point that, and this point also, this karma versus Jnanam, we see that Shankaracharya, demolishes all the other darshanas like Sankhya, Yoga, And Purva Mimamsakas, we recently saw how he points out all the Pharisees and establishes only the Vedanta Darshanam. And then the second highlight of Shankara's mind is the topic of Adhyasa. You know, Shankaracharya is often called a Mayavadi, always talking about Maya, Maya. But Adhyasa is very important. Adhyasa, as we heard today also, is mistaking, you know, one for the other. We have seen so many metaphors, mistaking the rope for a snake and the shell for silver, the post for the ghost. So these are the metaphors which clearly show us that how one can easily, without this knowledge, arrive at erroneous conclusions about oneself. So is not Adhyasa a fundamental problem? Yeah, fundamental problem. And understanding Adhyasa alone, I will understand what? That the world that is experienced by me, including my life, my situation, my body, mind, sense complex, is mithya. And without understanding mithya, we cannot come to satya. The mithya is very important. And so that is the glory of Adhyasa. And the main prakriya here we use. What is the solution about Adhyasa? What can we do? The dream example comes to our help, you know. We have to wake up. So that is called Adhyasa Apavada Prakriya. And Sushila, took us through that prakriya through the Panchakosha Virika. Apavada is the negation. So when again the knowledge, it negates, this erroneous conclusions about me. So we see how beautifully, how compassionately Adi Shankaracharya, across the Shastras emphasizes again and again, let us dehypnotize and be anchored in this wisdom. Yeah. Now, we have seen the richness of metaphors that Shankaracharya uses in all the Shastras. Yeah. Now, there is this work called Shatashloki, 100 shlokas. And in that, the very first shloka, do you know what Shankaracharya says? He says, in all the three worlds, I cannot find an appropriate Drishtanta for the Guru. So I fall short. I'm at a loss. How to describe the Guru? Now, from other stotrams like, Guru Gita, we have seen that the Guru is compared to the blazing sun, which makes the Jiva's mind blossom like even a lotus. Yeah. And then in recent times, we hear how the Guru is a GPS, with a navigating principle for us. But Shankaracharya points out the limitation. He says that no, because a Guru can no doubt make a surrendered Shishya become wise. But a Guru does much more than that. The Guru makes the Shishya like himself or herself. Yeah, a Guru also and a teacher. So for that, I don't find any Drishtanta. Then in the very next verse of Shatashloki, Adi Shankaracharya says, take the example of a sandalwood tree in a forest. We have plenty of those in Anikati, surroundings. Now, a sandalwood tree what will it do? It will spread fragrance, in the whole forest. That is, all the trees borrow the fragrance from the sandalwood tree. So Acharya Shankaracharya says, all the students and all the devotees, the mumukshus who are connected with the Sadguru, they also become fragrant with this knowledge, and then they will be able to comfort and offer help to all the people who are passing by, who are around them. It could be family members, colleagues, friends, neighbors. They become a source of strength and peace to the whole world. That is the glory of the Guru. Yeah. And so a few words I just wanted to share today. And finally, I want to share one story. We don't know whether it is true, but it is centered on Adi Shankaracharya. Yeah. And that is when Adi Shankaracharya goes to Kashi, and he goes to have darshan after his ritualistic Ganga Snanam. And he's praying to Lord Vishwanatha and asking for prayashchittam. So all the Shishyas around are very puzzled. They say that why is our Acharya asking for prayashchittam? Then Acharya explains, that I always talk about Bhagavad Tattvam as Sarva Vyapaka. But here, by coming to Kashi, it is as though Bhagavan is only here as Vishwanatha. So please forgive me, Lord, for not, implementing what I am teaching. Yeah. And the second one is, there is a Kashi Vishwanatha Ashtakam in praise of the Lord in Kashi. So again, Shankaracharya says, so he's speaking to the Lord. He says, I wanted to capture your glory through the Ashtakam, but again, you are infinite. Where are you not? So again, I made a mistake. My words did not match my actions. And then as we heard from Padma, na dharmo, na chartho, na kamo, na moksha, na punyam, na papam, na saukyam, na dukkham, na mantro, na vedo, na tirtha, na yajnaha. I said there is no tirtha for me, aham atma brahma. But yet I undertook a tirtha yatra all the way to Kashi and to pray to you here. Yeah. So hence I'm asking for prayashchitta because I'm trying to worship you in a place external to the body. Now, this does not mean we don't undertake pilgrimages, yeah. But in the context of Vedanta, it highlights what value Adi Shankaracharya gives to this heart temple and to the grace of Parameshwara who is indwelling in our hearts. Yeah. And so, with that, I want to also say that studying Vedanta is not an option anymore. It is a deliberate choice and a way of life. See, already most of us would have had upbringings in very liberally in secular times, and we are still suffering from some kind of a colonial mindset hangover, right? So it is our duty to rediscover our roots and the Vedic heritage by taking refuge at the feet of such masters as Adi Shankaracharya. I feel so blessed that I was invited to for the unveiling of the 108-foot Adi Shankaracharya statue in Omkareshwar in the Narmada Valley. And it is so beautiful to see that they are developing, like what Gayatri Nath mentioned today, a huge mutt-like establishment, matha, and a center of excellence, and where, again, all these teachings will be available to anybody who chooses to go there. So let us pursue this knowledge with, commitment and dedication. And once again, we take refuge and our salutations to the great Acharya, Adi Shankaracharya, and to all the shining links that are in the Guru Parampara. Jai Jai Shankara, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Amma. Thank you for such kind and encouraging words. And on behalf of all our students, I want to thank you for giving us an opportunity to talk on these topics where we could take time to dwell upon them. And definitely, this whole exercise has been enriching for us. And that is only thanks to you. Amma, now shall we go ahead with the Aarti? Shall we go ahead with the Aarti, Amma?
Yes, please.
Umaji and Lakshmi Garuji will be doing the Aarti. Uma will do the Aarti and Lakshmi ji will be singing along the Mangala Aarti song. Unmute yourself, Lakshmi ji. Lakshmi Garu, unmute yourself.
Yes. Shankaraya 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 Mangalam Shankari Manoharaya Shashvataya Mangalam Shankaraya 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 Mangalam Shankari Manoharaya Shashvataya Mangalam Sundaraya Mangalam Sanatanaya Mangalam Yaya Tanmayaya Sanmayaya Mangalam Anantaya Mangalam Chirantanaya Mangalam Nirantaraya Mangalam Purantaraya Mangalam Achanchalaya Mangalam Achintanaya Mangalam जगत् शिवाय मङ्गलं नमः शिवाय मङ्गलं 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 आनन्दमङ्गलं मङ्गलं मङ्गलं दयानन्दमङ्गलं मङ्गलं मङ्गलं आनन्दमङ्गलं मङ्गलं मङ्गलं दयानन्दमङ्गलं दयानन्दमङ्गलम्.
Thank you. Thank you, Umaji and Lakshmiji, for the Aarti song and the Aarti shown to us, lovely Aarti. Amma, I would request you to close the festival with the Swasti prayers.
स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्ताम् न्यायेन मार्गेण महीमहीषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यम् लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितः ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतङ्गमय ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ भव शङ्कर देशिक मे शरणं भव शङ्कर देशिक मे शरणं सर्वं कृष्णार्पणमस्तु ॐ तत्सत्